Hello and welcome to my Wi-Fi cracking course. In this course, we're going to talk mainly about cracking Wi-Fi passwords. All the attacks that we're going to talk about are practical attacks launched against actual routers that I have here at my lab. So all the attacks work, and all of them are practical attacks. They are not theories, they're not proof of concept, they're 100% working attacks. So these attacks will allow us to obtain the passwords or the keys for different Wi-Fi networks, whether they use WEP or WPA or WPA2 encryption. The course is divided into three main parts. The first part is network basics. In this part, we're just going to talk about how networks work, how devices communicate with each other in networks. And we're going to talk about the interfaces, the wireless cards, and the modes that we can use the wireless cards, and how we can sniff packets that are sent around us in the air. Once we understand that and we can sniff packets in the air, we're going to move to cracking WEP encryption, because it's an easier encryption to crack than WPA. So we're going to talk about how WEP works first, the theory behind cracking it. So we're going to talk about the weaknesses in WEP. And then we're going to discuss three methods to crack WEP encryption without the need to any connected devices, or without the need to communicate with any of the people who are connected to these devices. We're not going to explain only one method, because these methods might work or might not work depending on the distance between you and the router. It's going to depend on your wireless card, and it's going to depend on the hardware used inside the router. So we're going to talk about three methods, so that at least one of these methods should work for you. After we do that, we're going to move to WPA. We're going to again understand how WPA works, and what's the difference between WEP and WPA, and what's the weakness in WPA that allow us to crack this encryption. WPA and WPA2 are similar. They can be cracked using the same methods. We're going to talk about this into more detail once we move to that part. And again, we're going to talk about four methods to crack WPA, going from slow to a quicker methods in cracking it. So, as I said before, there are three main encryption parts, WEP, WPA, and WPA2. WEP is the easiest one to crack. It takes minutes to be cracked, and it's 100% sure that we can actually crack it. With WPA, we're going to have, if WPS is enabled, then our chances of cracking it is much higher. So it's around, probably around 100% to crack the WPA if WPS feature is enabled. Again, more on this once we actually go to WPA, so this is just an introduction. Same with WPA2. If WPS is enabled, it's very easy to crack. If it's not, we're going to have to use a dictionary attack, or a word list, or a rainbow table. We're going to talk about all of that once we actually go to that section. So let's go ahead and start with network basics in the next lecture.